From Neural Newscast, this is Prime Cyber Insights, intelligence for defenders, leaders, and decision makers.
The briefing room is open. I am Aaron Cole, and today is May 12th, 2026. Joining me for the briefing is Lauren Mitchell. We have a heavy technical agenda, starting with a massive subversion of the software supply chain.
Thanks, Aaron. We are tracking the Shai-Hulud campaign, where TeamPCP has compromised over 400 packages across NPM and PyPI. The alarming part is that these malicious versions carry valid SLSA Build Level 3 attestations. Joining us today is Chad Thompson, a director-level AI and security leader with a systems-level perspective on automation, enterprise risk, and operational resilience. Chad, welcome.
Chad, we usually tell practitioners that SLSA attestations and cryptographic signing are the gold standard for trust. How is Shai-Hulud bypassing those signals so effectively?
It is a systemic failure of the runner environment, Aaron. The attackers aren't breaking the cryptography. They're hijacking the authority. By using a pull request target vulnerability and poisoning the GitHub Actions cache, they're stealing OIDC tokens directly from runner memory. This allows them to publish malicious code through the legitimate CI/CD pipeline. To the registry, it looks like a verified build from a trusted maintainer because technically it is. It collapses the boundary between provenance and integrity.
The payload seems particularly aggressive against AI developers, targeting Mistral AI and TanStack. Chad, what does this tell us about the attackers' objectives in this latest wave?
They are going after the keys to the kingdom. This malware isn't just stealing passwords. It is scraping process memory for AWS Secrets Manager credentials, Kubernetes service account tokens, and Claude Code configs. By targeting the AI ecosystem, they are looking for high compute environments and the proprietary datasets those developers access. They have even added a destructive secondary routine that wipes systems if they detect specific geographic locales, which shows a shift toward probabilistic sabotage alongside credential theft.
Chad, if standard signing isn't enough to stop a signed malicious package, what is the practitioner's move here?
We have to move to behavioral analysis at install time. You can't just trust a signature anymore. Organizations need to enforce lock file only installs to prevent silent updates and, more importantly, monitor what these packages are doing during the post-install phase. If a library for routing should only be handling UI components but starts querying your environment variables and reaching out via a P2P network, that is your signal. We need to audit the runner's memory, not just the code signature.
Chad, thanks for providing that systems-level context. Transitioning from supply chain to the core OS, Aaron, we have a major kernel vulnerability with Copy.Fail.
Right, Lauren. Bruce Schneier is calling Copy.Fail the worst Linux vulnerability in years. It is a local privilege escalation using AF_ALG sockets and the splice syscall. It allows an attacker to write 4 bytes at a time directly into the page cache of files they don't own. Because it never modifies the file on disk, standard monitoring like AID or Tripwire won't see it. This is a massive risk for shared infrastructure like Kubernetes nodes or CI/CD environments where one compromised container can now promote itself to root across the entire kernel.
It is a silent, non-destructive override, similar in spirit to the Ghost Lock proof-of-concept tool we saw released yesterday by Kim Devosh. While Ghost Lock uses the Windows Create File W API to block file access as a denial of service, Copy.Fail allows for total system takeover. Speaking of takeovers, the edtech giant Instructure has confirmed it reached an agreement with the Shiny Hunters group after 2 intrusions into their Canvas platform.
The phrasing is notable, Lauren. Instructure says they received shred logs confirming the destruction of data belonging to 275 million students and staff. This follows the exploitation of their free-for-teacher system. It is a classic extortion scenario where the company likely paid a ransom to avoid a public leak, highlighting that even when core learning data isn't hit, the volume of usernames and enrollment data is enough to force a payout.
It echoes the ICO's recent move in the UK, fining South Staffordshire Water nearly £1 million for a breach that went undetected for 2 years. The regulator made it clear, waiting for a ransom note is not a security strategy. They cited unpatched Windows Server 2003 systems and limited monitoring as key failures. Whether it is edtech or critical infrastructure, the lag between intrusion and discovery is where the real damage lives.
The common thread today is that our legacy signals, whether it's an SSL signature, a signed NPM package, or a password reset, are proving insufficient. As we saw with the SecOps report this week, even a password change doesn't end a breach if Kerberos tickets remain active or permissions on admin SD holder objects have been modified. Practitioners must focus on session invalidation and auditing ACLs, not just rotating credentials.
That's a wrap for today's briefing. I'm Lauren Mitchell. Thank you for joining us.
And I am Aaron Cole. For more analysis, visit pci.neuralnewscast.com. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. This briefing is provided for informational purposes and does not constitute legal or technical advice. We'll see you back in the briefing room tomorrow.
This has been Prime Cyber Insights on Neural Newscast. Intelligence for defenders, leaders, and decision makers.